Let's do one more in example 1 before we move on to example 2. Here's letter C. And it's going to do it the same way that we were doing the others. Here, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. All right, so my A is 3, B is negative 7, C is negative 6. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. I need my B to be negative 7. So you think of factors of 18, that when you add them, you get 7. Well, I know that that includes 9 and 2. One of these numbers is going to have to be negative. If my number here is negative, then that means that my larger number is negative. Negative 9 plus 2 gives me negative 7. Negative 9 times 2 also gives me negative 18. So we're set. Let's go to our box. All right, first box, first term. Take my values from the x. Last box, last term. Let's do it. GCFs between 3 and 2 is just 1. Between my variables is x. GCF between 9 and 6 is, let me think about it, 3. And since this is a negative, that GCF is a negative. GCF between 3 and 9 is 3. Between my x's is x. GCF between 2 and 6 is 2. All right? Put it together. Here's my first binomial. Second binomial. Set it equal to 0. Do your little cross. Separate the binomials. And set each one equal to 0. Right? My first solution, x equals 3. My second solution, x equals, let's see, I subtract 2 on both sides. 3x equals negative 2. Second solution is negative 2/3. There you go. Oh, can you see that? Sorry. There you go. So example 1, generally, like I said, 80% of the time, this is what your examples are going to look like. Okay? For example 2, this is where you have to set the equation equal to 0. This is where you have to do step number 1. So let's look at example 2. All right? Clearly that is not equal to 0. But it can be equal to 0. All you have to do is add 1 to both sides. So this becomes 7x squared minus 8x plus 1 equals 0. And remember, when you move anything over to the other side, you change the sign. Okay, you got to remember to change the sign, or it may not even factor. Okay, now we're ready. Start with your x. My A is 7, B is negative 8, C is positive 1. 7 times 1 is 7. My middle term is negative 8. So now, factors of 7, well, that's easy. It's a prime number. So the only numbers we have are 1 and 7. How can we make these two numbers add up to negative 8? Well, hopefully you realize that if both of them are negative, they'll add up to negative 8. So if I add them, I get negative 8. Negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7. We're ready to go. From here on, everything is the same. You just have to do this little step, and you got to do it correctly, and then everything else is the same. So we'll just keep going real fast, because the more you guys do of these Xboxing, the better you will get. All right. First term, 7x squared. Diagonals, put in from my x. Last term, last box. All right, GCF between 7 and 7 is just 7. My variable is x. GCF between 1 and 1 is just 1. Since that's a negative, my GCF is a negative. GCF between 7 and 1 is just 1. The variable is x. The GCF between negative 7 and 1 is 1, but because that's a negative, the GCF is a negative. Put it together. 7x minus 1, times x minus 1, set it equal to 0. Separate. Okay, 7x minus 1 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. Solve for x. Add 1. 7x equals 1. X equals 1, 7. Sorry, you guys can't see that. Sorry. And then your other solution is positive 1. There's your two answers. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm making an executive decision. Because, for example, 2, all you have to do is that one extra step, I'm going to give you letter B. You have to do letter B on your own. I don't know where you're watching these videos, if you're in the room with me, if you are at home. I don't know. I don't know if I'm in the room. Who knows? But in order for you to get full credit, you've got to do letter B on your own. So let me give it to you. Here's letter B. 9a squared equals 6a plus 24. Now, I'm going to start you off so then you can handle it. Clearly not equal to 0. All of this needs to be moved over to the other side. So that means both terms, the sign is going to change. Both terms, not just the one on the end, both terms. So I have 9a squared minus 6a minus 24 equals 0. You finish it. You finish it. Xbox, GCF, binomials, to separate them, solve. You finish this, and then we'll be